Welcome everyone for the episode 6 of How Languages Connect People. Here at Day Translations, we love languages and people and how they can grow, interact, and evolve while using different languages. As always, our interviewer and host of this series, CEO and founder of Day Translations Inc., Sean Patrick Hopwood, will be interviewing guests connected to languages and to the translation and interpreting world. On this sixth episode, we are speaking with not one but two guests, Ms Mingyan Zhao and Ms Yahan Sun, from Unifons. Unifons is a company that started in 2021 with Mrs. Mingyan, Ms. Yahan, and Mrs. Wen Xiao, and is the result of their wish to share universally about the Chinese language and the culture from the lovely city of Xi'an. Thank you for being here with us, ladies, and I'm going to give the word to our host, Mr. Hopwood.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice to see you both. I'm Sean Hopwood, and I've gotten to know you a little bit and your company a little bit. So your company is called Unifons, right? And it's Chinese language learning, but also cultural learning at the same time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell me what led you to come with the idea of starting this company, and how long ago did you start it?
Actually, we both, have been friends for many years, and we love culture, and also we love to communicate with people from different backgrounds. So we share many same values, and we travel abroad. For me, I traveled for around 4 years. And after then, I back to China, and I work in trade companies as a manager to manage the trade business. At that time, Yahan, for me, at the first time, she said, maybe we should do something together. And I didn't think I would be a teacher because, I think that's not my career. I didn't have that plan. And then as time goes by, I think there's the chance mean you to do it. So then the coronavirus exploded, and then we have to stay at home for quarantine.
Yeah.
And Yahan come to me again, and she said, let's do something together. Okay, I say, why not? Because I can do something with trade now. So we start think the things, we do something with culture, we do things by ourselves. That's how actually I started to do with this field.
Very nice. Yeah, actually, and that's interesting because the lockdowns and stuff like that, they've kind of forced you into doing something that's actually really helpful to a lot of people. And the same thing happened for me. There were lockdowns here, and I decided to start learning Chinese. So and I think that's what a lot of people have done. Yeah. So that's what a lot of people have done. I mean, when a lot of things are not open or you can't do things, the best thing to do is actually take some action to learn something new. And so, I've been learning Chinese for 1.5 years now. I got a long way to go, but I think it's such a beautiful language and a beautiful culture. And speaking to you before, Mingyan, the way you speak about the beautiful culture of Xi'an, and it reinforces my interest and my love for the Chinese culture. And there's so much. And so if for the listeners, their company is actually located in Xi'an province, which is the northern middle part of China, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
actually,
yeah, you know a lot better than me. Do you consider that middle or north, or north middle, or
east,
or west?
East, west, west, north part.
Yeah. And I've done a little bit of research about Xi'an. It seems like it'd be a very ancient city. It was a very ancient cultural hub, was it, for trade and commerce back in a long time ago, or is that not true?
Yes, this is the starting point for One Belt and One Road initiative, something like that. So
What was it called? One road?
One Belt and One Road.
Okay.
One Belt and One Road. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know something about that? The strategy?
I know about the Silk Road.
Yeah, the Silk Road. Yeah,
we call
it's
it the Silk Road. Yeah.
Yeah, the Silk Road.
That was a starting point?
Yeah.
From Xi'an, Chang'an to Rome, no?
Rome.
Okay. Oh, so it's like a very big important trade center. And so I looked on the internet. There's a lot of ancient buildings there and stuff like that. So it seems to be like you've preserved a lot of culture there at Xi'an, right?
Yes, and this city is the best part about this city. Maybe just a few steps you can cross from the modern city to the ancient city. Like you just pass through the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds beautiful. I hope they go to China hopefully near this year or next year. I've been learning Chinese.
And welcome to Xi'an.
谢谢. Yeah, I've been learning Chinese personally for 14 months, and I've noticed that your method at teaching there at Unifons is a very interesting method. And I've even noticed your social media, which is very exciting, and you're both very fun, and it will get a lot of people interested. And I believe a lot of people in America, Europe, and a lot of places are really starting to try to learn Chinese. Personally at Day Translations, we're putting a great emphasis on learning Chinese as well, and I think it's a very important language for the future. It's according to for amount of people spoken, is Mandarin the number one spoken language in the world, or is it English? Mandarin, right?
Yes,
Mandarin.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. So that's pretty important.
It's not the second language, but the most people speak in the world. Yes.
Yeah.
Mandarin.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
So
because the Chinese they think it's difficult, so not as easy as English, no? Yeah.
Chinese is very difficult, and I can tell you from experience. But personally for me, I've been taking classes twice a week for about 16 months now, and I'm a linguist myself, so I feel like even though if I'm not speaking perfectly right now, I'm just going to continue, and eventually maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, I'll be able to speak, I'll be able to speak fluently. What is your method for teaching Chinese there?
Actually, we use immersion approach, and a communicative approach. Yes, because I've been teaching Chinese for almost 7 years, and I saw a lot of students around the world, from kids to old people, even they're old but still want to learn Chinese, they're passionate about learning, and for our students, actually for example, for the beginners, we take the real life material for our students. Our teacher shoots the real life content for our students. The book is old fashioned. Book, need update, but the real life content is real.
That's very important. I have a book here. I have this book here, and it has some old stuff in it. Have you seen this one before?
Yeah. 跟我学汉语
Yeah, it's good though. It has, you're right. A lot of these books are used that are like 30 years old sometimes. So it's really nice. It's really nice, and you make it very fun. So I've go ahead.
For example, we go to the supermarket and to shoot how to buy a thing, a thing, and we make this video, and after we send this to our students. So our students see your teacher, so she's doing a video for me, and I want to do one too. So we we motivate our students to shoot the video too, like homework, the real.
That's really good to get people involved in action. It's really good to apply the language when you're learning a language. I try to tell people, my friends, they always think you have to go to another country to learn a language, and I do think going to another country is probably the best way. But if you can't, try to immerse yourself as much as you can where you're at. I personally, I listen to a lot of Chinese music. I go to the Chinese market, and where I live in Tampa, there's a lot of Chinese markets. So I read the labels off of everything that I can, possibly read. And so, speaking of reading, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that's probably one of the hardest parts of learning the Chinese language. Speaking, you can kind of get by and you understand the grammar, but reading is really hard. How do you? I haven't noticed a lot of patterns. I mean, I know there are a lot of radicals. So how do you teach people how, like someone who's used to a Roman alphabet? How do you teach them how to read Chinese when you have so many characters?
We have so many characters, but I have some tips for students who learn Chinese. The Chinese character. The first, you can start by the simple one, the simple characters. For example, there are more or less 213 simple character you can start. There are more or less one stroke or two stroke or 3 or 4. You can start by learning this and learning the basic meaning, And after that, you can, of course, repetition is so important. Repetition and make a muscle memorize. Muscle memories. Yes, that's don't lie. You need to write many times until you get it.
For real. I've been doing that myself. It's a huge task with all these characters. So you're familiar with the HSK test, right? And
actually, the test is not we organized. It's from the official department, the government official department. All over the world, follow same structures.
And that test was created by the Chinese government?
Yes. And we actually,
and that's for foreigners, right?
For foreigners, just like IELTS and for TOEFL. It's the same.
In English we have the TOEFL, and you have HSK as a 汉语水平考试, right?
考试, 对.
Okay. And they've recently changed the levels? How many levels of HSK are there?
9.
9. Okay. Very cool. And so when you have students, do you teach them HSK, or you just teach them your own method?
Depends on students' needs. All our course is designed by our students' need. Yes.
Okay. That's very cool.
Of course we have HSK. Depends on what you need.
Okay. And so how did you all both how did you all both learn English? What was your method? Through a teacher, or learning on your own, or what?
Sorry, pardon.
Okay.
No worries.
Then I will answer the first. For me, I learned English. We for our Chinese, we learned English as our second language since we were like 12, something like that. We have to take examination about this, language. But for me, I didn't learn this well at school. I learned it, after I finished my university and I go to post-graduation, post-school. And so I was in Malaysia. So I have to learn this and I have passion on it. one side I have the environment to learn, and the other side I try hard by myself, reading and
Yeah.
writing everything. So
Yeah.
that's how I learned.
Yeah, well, it's great. Your English, it's very great. And Yahan, how did you learn?
Learn English or English,
Yeah,
right?
English. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I also started learning English when I was very little, like 3 years old. Okay, it's the grade of primary school. Yes, but
Okay.
I didn't learn anything until I went to university. Yes,
Okay.
I started to learn because I can saw a foreigner teacher in our school. So I make friends with them and I speak to
Yes.
them and talk to them and every day practicing because I think I must go abroad one day. I think I will after
Yeah.
graduate.
Yeah.
So that's why I practice every day when I was in university.
Okay. That's very smart. That's very smart. Personally, yeah, I never learned Chinese in high school or college. And my interest is more recent in the Chinese, but in college, I learned French and Spanish in high school. And those are what they offered when I was in high school. But now I believe in high school, they used to offer French, Spanish, German, and Latin. But now it's Chinese. They've been adding Chinese to a lot of high school curriculum, and I believe some high schools also have Japanese. And so I definitely think that's a smart decision. These languages is so much more important, you know. And I wish I had started little. So speaking of starting little, do you find that more of your students are children or adults?
Actually, we have adult students. We also have a lot of teenager students and kids.
Okay.
For online teaching, online learning, for kids maybe 6 years to 9. I think it's not easy. You know, if they are very little, it's not easy to online because they need to pay attention. They can't pay attention for a long time. But we try to make learning by playing. You know, our method of playing and acting and the content is the point. Teacher need to prepare really, really attractive content to student.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not how I act, but the content and the teacher himself. You need to be attractive and to let the student like you. Wow! And they can leave the eyes from you. That's the point. And then they follow you. So they get, that's how they look.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And I have a lot of friends because they always ask me how to learn languages. And I tell them, learn in class. They said, how did you learn all your languages? And I say, I learned every single language in a class. Some people try to learn on their own, or they learn through these learning apps. And I don't think that's the best method. I mean, if you have a good teacher like both of you, you can actually motivate them. You can tailor the classes for them. And I think what you're doing is great. And I think a lot of these apps, they kind of mislead people in a way because they convince people, oh, you can just learn through an app, and you might learn a few words, but I mean, the best way to learn, I think, is in a classroom setting with a teacher.
It's really good.
Yeah. So that's my belief. I mean, it's human connection is extremely important.
The real connection, yes.
Yeah. So right now you are in Xi'an. Do you all teach in-person classes in Xi'an at all?
Yes, we also have many students offline class, and we try to organize some not in class but out of the classroom. Yes, in classroom but outside classroom, in society, in street, in restaurant, in city wall, in whatever, and we practice and try to communicate with the people and give them some material, and we design the exercise, design some conversation before, and let them to practice. That's what we find. We'll find more interesting.
Yeah, we used to call those field trips in English.
Field trip.
Field trips, yeah. I used to love those whenever I was in high school. When I was in elementary school, the teacher would take us on field trips to like an ice cream shop or to a bakery or something like that. And field trips are good. It gets you moving, and I see that you believe in the dynamic movement. And when you feel like you're moving, you feel like you're always progressing when you're learning a language. Yeah, you want to say something?
Learning by doing. Learning by doing.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. That's a great way. So, besides English and Mandarin, do you all speak any other languages?
Yes, I also speak Spanish and a
Muy
little
bien.
bit German. Muy bien.
Yeah.
Sí.
Sehr good.
Sehr good. Yeah.
Sehr good. Muy bien. That's good. And Mingyan, do you speak any languages besides English and Mandarin?
I learned 2 months French, but now I almost forgot everything.
Yeah.
Only comment ça
Yeah.
va?
Comment ça va? Très bien. Yeah. So, yeah, it's sometimes hard, when you put so much effort to learning a language, like for a year or 2 years, and then you get busy doing something else, and you feel like you're losing everything you learned. That kind of happens to me with German a little bit. I don't remember much German at all. So, I think that for me, the best way to maintain your level is to keep listening to music in different languages. If you want to not forget your French, just keep listening to French music, and it'll keep you at least maintain that level until you can start making some French friends again, or until you can go back to France. And so this is kind of, this is what I do to maintain. I haven't really lost much of my French, even though I don't have a lot of French friends. I took 4 years of French, and I took 3 years in high school and 1.5 years in college, and I learned a lot, but I haven't lost much. But living in Florida where I live, it's much easier to practice Spanish or Chinese or some other languages, but there's not a lot of people speaking French here. So maybe if I lived in Canada or something like that, I would be able to practice. But and so if you all could learn another language, which one would you want to learn? Any language in the world. Do you want to learn another language?
Yes, I think many languages there very interesting. If I travel to somewhere, I always want to learn something. And I think after French, maybe I should first catch up with my French, and then maybe I will consider to learn Japanese.
Yeah. Oh, Japanese is beautiful. It's a beautiful language. I don't know it, but it looks cool.
Cute.
And I know the language they kanji is, I think it's called, is
Kanji.
basically just it's basically Chinese Hanyu.
对 Chinese 汉字，对
Hanzi, yeah,
maybe
Hanzi.
for yes, maybe it will be easier to learn Japanese because we have many characters. It's very close.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like your ren also means person in Japanese. I don't know how to say person in Japanese. The tian also means like weather or day, and so yeah, there's a lot of similarities. So it's probably really good for Chinese people to learn Japanese. Yeah. And how about Korean? You ever been interested in that?
Korean also very cute, but to compare with Japanese, I think I will start Japanese first.
Yeah.
I'm sure my mom wants to learn Korean. My mom wants to learn Korean because Korean TV show is so famous in China, and
Yeah.
Mama like too much, Korean series.
Yeah. I like some Korean series. I really love Chinese series. On Netflix, I watch a lot of Chinese series. They're really good. So, like just basic dramas and stuff like that. So, what do you what do you think are some of the most beautiful elements of Chinese culture or Xi'an, or that you would like to share? Some kind of are there any famous poets from Xi'an or writers that you think are really important for someone who's wanting to learn about the Chinese culture and maybe could read some of their books or something like that to really familiarize themselves and also improve their Chinese?
Okay. So first, if you say talk about our beautiful Xi'an, I think this is the place if you want to know Chinese culture. This is the place you must come.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here has 13 dynasty history over here, and furthermore, nowadays here is a very important place for the trade. At the economic side, here also very important. The last year, Xi'an has already updated to the first tier cities already.
Oh,
Before
wow.
was the second, but right now Xi'an is one of the ninth of central cities of China. So
Oh,
with the strategy of China, the development, the city is very important for the history sectors. It's also very important. So if you come here, one side you can, to research about the culture, discover the ancient history stories. The other
yeah.
side, you can also, develop with, the new structures with the government, something, the policy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that's very beautiful. What the Chinese government is doing, actually, um, they're moving forward. There's a lot of technological areas, technological cities like Shenzhen, Shanghai,
Yeah.
and that city west of Shanghai. I forgot the name of it. Um,
Suzhou,
yeah, Suzhou. Yeah,
Hangzhou.
yeah, Suzhou. These are very technological cities, but they
Yes.
also preserve the culture at the same time. Even if you watch Chinese movies, you see a lot of culture, ancient culture incorporated. So it's really beautiful how you don't forget your culture. But they also kind of they're promoting a progressive mindset at the same time, which is really something I like about China. And I think people are very feel very emboldened and very prideful of the culture. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, what are your after this last question here, um, what are your goals for the nearby future with yourselves and with your company? What do you plan on doing?
Okay. Okay. So we have different roles for our companies. So for me, actually, I take care of the side of the operation and also the marketing. So for me, my goals is for Xi'an know us. The city know us first, and I know it takes time to not all the people know us. But this year, my small goal is like the Xi'an. All the foreigners groups will know us first, and we will have some impact or something like that for the city. That's
Yeah,
why we share a lot of things about Xi'an, and people will know the culture and know us.
that's beautiful.
Yes, yeah. And for me, because I'm responsible for the teaching department, so I think
Culture
yes.
teaching.
So actually, I think this year, we are preparing for our teaching material and how to teach, a revolution of teaching.
Yeah,
How to teach and how to learn. That's interesting. That is a topic to explore, and how to make learning easy and in real life, based on in real life.
yeah, that's great. My mother's a teacher, and she's been teaching for I guess over 45 years, and she has people that come up to her that she taught when they were babies, and they come to her and thank her for everything that she taught them. I think teaching is one of the most they're one of the most respectable jobs you can be in. You're educating people. It's just, I mean, it's a very noble thing that you can do. So that's wonderful, and it's really also good that you're focusing on Xi'an. My grandfather, my grandfather always used to tell me a phrase. He said, "Bloom where you're planted." He said that means like if you're planted in Xi'an, put yourself in the ground and bloom, and you'll grow there.
Yes,
And so that's kind of, I do the same thing where I'm from, Florida. I think Florida is a beautiful state here, and I always try to promote it. And we have a lot of nature, a lot of beautiful springs. I live in Tampa. It's a beautiful city, beautiful beaches. So I think it's a good thing to always promote where you're from and be proud of where you're from. So that's wonderful. So yeah, thank you very much. Did you all want to add anything and give us any more information about anything else, or any questions for me?
Okay. So I think we are old friends now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I want to add something is I hope after this interview, Mr. Hopwood and our Ali, Alexandra, for me is very difficult. And you
Ale.
too, well, they are very interested in our city, Xi'an. And we're really, looking forward maybe in the future, some days you will come here and we will be best guide to, you travel around the city and even to discover the mountains. Their here has very, very beautiful mountains. And as we discussed the last time, we also have Haiji and also Chinese medicine here. So we are here looking forward to see you and welcome to Xi'an.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you
I know
so
Alejandra
much.
really wants to go there too.
Yes.
And I do too. There's a couple places I really want to see. I want to see Xi'an, I want to see Shanghai, and I want to see Yunnan. That's a place that I really want to see. Yeah.
We too. With those wish, we can one day go to visit you in your
You're
place,
welcome here.
your hometown.
Yeah.
Tampa.
Yeah. Tampa.
Florida.
Tampa is wonderful. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome here. It's a beautiful place. So
We go
hopefully,
You go here, we go here.
yeah. Hopefully the everything travel will become a lot easier come near the end of this year. Hopefully,
Yeah.
for everybody. I think that's great. So yeah, their company is called Unifons. They teach Chinese language, Mandarin, and Chinese culture at the same time. So we at Day Translations, we believe in this. We believe in language learning, any language that you want to learn. I believe it really expands your mind, and it expands your, it lengthens. I believe it lengthens your life. It gives you always something to look forward to. You can learn a language at any age, if you're a little kid or if you're an adult. So language is beautiful, and they have clearly shown how beautiful the Chinese language and culture is. So look at their website, and I thank you I thank you both very much for your time, and I also thank you too, Alejandra.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting to hear you all.
Thank you very much for invitation.
Thank you.
We'll touch. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Yeah. All right.
Thank you. That's
Yes,
just and
Chinese way.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know. Okay. All right. So thank you very much.